Today I'd like to show you how to do a painting of a very simple sunflower. And here are just a few examples of what it could look like. Now you may have a watercolor set or a palette with wells full of color, but whatever you have will work. And just about any kind of watercolor paper will be just fine. Then place some water in the palette, then take any kind of yellow that you have, blend it well, and then make a circle with petals. Now the petals may look a little bit like hair on a smiley face, but that's not going to matter. We want it to be loose, and don't worry about being perfect. Just wiggle your brush and go all the way around the circle. Then using a small spray bottle, go ahead and lightly mist the surface. Now don't use too much water, otherwise all the color can run right off the paper. We just want to soften some of those edges. Now let's start thinking about our centers. I think I'm going to mix together a brown and a little purple. Then in the center, going around in a circle, I'll just put a few dots of color in there. I'm not going to fill in the entire center, otherwise it could look like a black hole. So I think I'm going to add some other colors. And I think it might be fun to take my yellow and add a little red into it, or maybe even a little purple. Then I'll let it start to mingle with the other color. And it might be nice to leave a few white spaces of the paper showing through. Then I'll let it dry. Now to get that center to stand out more, while the paper is still just a little damp, I'm going to bring in more color. And basically move around in a circle. Then to brighten up those petals, let's add a little more color. So using our yellow, I'm going to bring in some red so it has a slight orange cast to it, because that's going to help make it look just a little more interesting. Now if you notice, I'm mixing my color really well in the palette. That way I have a nice color blend. Then just like we did in the center, I'm going to add some brush strokes here and there. Now they don't need to touch, and it doesn't need to be perfect, so just work your way around the flower and have it be a little more random. Clean off your brush and wipe the color out of your palette, then let's start thinking about a background. Now since we have a yellow flower, what would be really pretty and work very well is a blue background, because it would look like the sky. It could also be green, or purple, or any color that you choose, but this is going to give you a really good example of what it would look like. So just work your way around the flower, giving the impression of petals. And if you want, you could even use clean water and dissolve some of that blue into a lighter value. So the most important thing is that you have fun with this. And if you want, you could even add other flowers into it. And if you were going to do that, you would do your flowers first and then add your background. Now you could leave it this way, but sometimes this can look a little flat. So to break up the space and have a lot of fun with this is we can spatter a little color. And to do that, just take your brush, get it wet, put some color on it, and then lightly tap it. And when some of that color mingles, you can get some really interesting effects. So have fun and happy painting!